this video, I'm going to show you several resume template formatting tips in Microsoft Word. These are tips that you can use no matter what type of resume template that you have, as long as you're using Microsoft Word. The template that I'm going to show you today is my Resume Design 1 template, and this is a template that is available for purchase. I'll include a link in the description below this video if you're interested in purchasing it. It does come with a PDF of instructions and editing tips, as well as a matching references page and cover letter template. Let's get started. The first tip is to always save a copy of your template somewhere on your computer and keep that as your original template that you can refer back to. Then go to File and then save a copy that can be your working copy that you're going to edit. Once you've downloaded a resume template, you're going to want to edit the header and enter your name and information. You're going to want to retain the formatting that's on that resume. There might be elements, though, of that template that you don't need or aren't going to use. So, for example, in this resume template, if you don't have any credentials, you can simply select that and delete it. You don't have to use every element of a downloaded template. The next tip is to see if the template that you're using has a line for address. You can delete that. You don't need to include your street address, city, state, or zip on a resume. That's considered personally identifiable information, and if you're applying for a job online, you can fill that information in on the actual job application itself, but you don't need to include it on your resume. This resume template happens to have social media icons where you can place links if you have professional related social media sites. If you have a professional blog or YouTube or Twitter or a LinkedIn page, you can include hyperlinks to those here on this resume template. If you don't, you can simply select them and delete them. However, if you do want to link them, all you have to do is select and then right-click. Select link, and then type the link, the URL address, and then click OK. Now, if you're not sure where to grab your personalized URL links on LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, be sure and check out my other video where I show you how to do that. All right, now that we've inserted that hyperlink, you'll notice that if a user hovers over that icon, a little message that says hold the Control key and click to go to that hyperlink. Now, if you don't want your users to have to hit Control to click the hyperlink, all you have to do is come up to File, go down to Options, click on Advanced, and notice this button here is automatically checked by default. It is the Use Control plus click to follow a hyperlink. So we can uncheck this box and then come down and click OK. And then now when your users hover over that, all they have to do is click on it or tap on it, and it will take them to the link and they don't have to hit Control. The next tip is to let you know that recruiters, when they are first scanning your resume to see if you're a good match for the position that they're recruiting for, they're going to look at three main things. That's going to be your company, where you work, your job title, what you do there, and your dates of employment, how long you've worked there. That gives them an idea of how much experience you have and whether or not you have the type of related job experience that they're looking for to fill the position. So make sure on your resume template that those things are very prominent in your resume template. I also recommend a chronological resume so that right after your qualifications summary will come the professional work experience. Those are the key things up front on your resume that you want to have towards the top. Now, if you're formatting your resume and you happen to bleed onto another line that messes up the formatting of your resume, be sure in backspace or delete so that you bring the date back into alignment. Having your resume be aesthetically pleasing in terms of white space and spacing is very important. The next tip is regarding the company name that you put on your resume. A recruiter may not be familiar with the company that you work at. So there is a line on this resume underneath the name of the company that you'll notice that allows you to put a little bit of a description about the company that you work at. For example, largest healthcare provider in the region. Any type of information that you can give a recruiter to give them some context about the experience that you might have had by working there in terms of the size of the organization or anything like that is helpful as that recruiter is scanning your resume. Another option is to actually hyperlink the company's website. If your company does have a good About Me page and has a good explanation of what the company does and what it's about, then you can hyperlink that here. And again, all you have to do is select the name of the company that you type in, right click, and select link, and then you can include the URL to the company's website. That gives a recruiter the opportunity, if they're interested about learning more about the company where you used to work, they can click on that link. The next tip is regarding pasting from another resume template, right? So sometimes you have a resume that you may have been using for a while and you get a new resume template and you want to copy and paste a lot of the information from your old resume onto your new resume template. But a lot of times when you copy and paste, it doesn't look just right. So for example, if I come down here and I hit enter, and let's say I have another resume document here, and I'm going to copy and paste some bullets that are from my old resume. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste those. Notice how the formatting looks all funky. It pasted an extra space and it's not the same font, right? So I don't want to do that. It's going to take me a lot of time to reformat my resume if I simply just copy and paste. So instead, I'm going to come up here and undo that action. And instead of pasting, what I'm going to do is right click and open up my paste options and then come up and select keep text only. And when I do that, it keeps the formatting of the current document is retained. And so it will reformat the text alone and it will keep to the formatting that's on your new resume template. The next tip is if you want to add another section onto your resume template. Maybe you've downloaded a resume template and it doesn't include a section that you want to include on your resume, like credentials or something like that. So all you have to do on this particular template is select the header and down to one line and then copy that. You can hit Ctrl+C to copy or right click and hit copy. And then come and hit enter, and then you can hit another enter and paste it. Regarding white space, when you do that, you just want to check and verify that the white spacing is accurate and didn't get messed up when you copied a new section or created a new section. So all you have to do is place your cursor where that blank line is and look up here on the point spacing, and we see that it's a point spacing of 11. And then just make sure that on your resume template that the spacing between each heading section is that 11 points. And so if it's not, you can adjust that. Likewise, if you come up here into the professional experience section, you notice that between each work experience, if we place our cursor on the blank line, we see that that point spacing is a 6. And so if we come down here, it's also a 6. Let's say that we were editing that resume template and for some reason that spacing was off. So for example, maybe if it was a spacing of 12, it's going to look different, right? It looks a little bit off. So to fix that, all you have to do is select that line, come up to this line spacing, put it back to 6 and hit enter. The next tip is to include a header if your resume flows onto multiple pages. A good rule of thumb is that your resume can flow onto multiple pages. For every 10 years of work experience, it's okay to have a page of your resume. Especially nowadays that resumes are scrolled through and scanned electronically, it's okay to flow onto other pages of your resume. You don't have to keep it to one page and crowd it onto one page. So on this resume template, we're going to go up to Insert, and click on Header, and we're going to click Edit Header. And notice that the first page, we have this button click that says Different First Page because we don't want to have the header show up on the first page of your resume. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to have the header inserted here and we're going to replace our name here. And then you just click Close Header and that will update, and then if your resume does flow on to even a third page, that third page will also contain your name. And the final tip is to look at the margins of your resume template. If you do need to edit the margins, you can simply come up to Layout and go to Margins and click on Custom Margins. This will open up your page setup area where you can adjust those margins. Most templates are designed with the margins already set for you, but sometimes those margins are pretty big and you do want to actually squeeze a little more information onto that. So you can use the left and right or top and bottom margin adjustments here. You can use your arrows to adjust those and you can squeeze some more information onto your resume template from there. I'm going to cancel out of there and come back to the top. Finally, be sure and replace any sections of the resume that you aren't going to use. If you download a template that has an objective, for example, definitely replace that with a qualifications summary. You want to have a summary at the top of your resume that shows a recruiter what it is that you can bring to their organization, and not necessarily an objective of what you're trying to gain out of getting a job with that organization. I hope you found these resume template formatting tips helpful. If you have, be sure and give this video a thumbs up to like it. You can subscribe to my channel and click the bell to receive a notification every time I post a new video. Be sure and visit my website, SharonSmithHR.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.